So you want to hear how I ended up in a world championship winning F1 car? That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment. And today we are talking about Velocity Invitational that just took place at the Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma this past weekend. I had zero intention of making a video for this. This was entirely for me. You see, this was my birthday gift to myself. And so I did a couple of things differently than I normally would when I'm reviewing an event. Mainly, I spent a lot of money on this weekend. And I'm willing to spend a lot of money for videos. I have previously. But typically, the lot of money being spent includes being like the average median price of something. Okay, like for example, when I went to the Gone Girl cruise, I got the cheapest option possible and I still paid over $5,000 for that. This one, I was like, this is for my birthday. It's this or a Bottega bag. I'm going to treat myself. And so I spent $3,000 for the driver's experience package for Velocity Invitational. While we were on the topic of finishing fast, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, the Dot Cruise from Lilo. The Dot Cruise is the next gen clitoral pinpoint vibrator with unseen precision to get you multiple finishes. Featuring a revolutionary elliptical movement that takes pleasure to new limits, it offers a sensory experience that is truly unparalleled. Are you an adventurous explorer that's looking for exciting new forms of pleasure? Then this groundbreaking device is perfect for you to experience truly out of this world finishes. The Lilo Dot Cruise gives you a truly customizable sensory experience, and you can adjust the intensity and angle of use, giving you complete control over your pleasure. What you want out of self-pleasure can constantly be changing and evolving, and the Lilo Dot Cruise is perfect to help you explore all new options. Like what you want out of life, what you want out of self-pleasure can constantly be changing and evolving, and the Lilo Dot Cruise is a perfect way to explore a whole new avenue. The soft and bendable tip allows you to completely pinpoint any erogenous zone meticulously. And with 8 different modes where you can completely control their intensity, you will surely find one that works for you. Go ahead and click the link in my description box and you can speed to the finish line with the Lilo Dot Cruise today. Thank you to Lilo for sponsoring this video. Velocity Invitational I heard about entirely because I am a McLaren girly, okay? I love McLaren. I like Formula One. And they were posting about Velocity Invitational and how McLaren was going to be there and some of their IndyCar team and Lando and a couple other people. And I was like, oh, this sounds like it'd be cool. Sonoma, I live several hours from there, but it's fine. I can hop on a plane, which I did. I was like, okay, this will be cool. And I want to go to more race events because F1 is, you know, a fairly new love of mine. But I grew up going to car shows and I just haven't been to a ton of races. I'm currently now in Vegas for the Netflix Cup as well as the Las Vegas Grand Prix. But I was like, this will be fun and I get to see a variety of old cars and maybe I'll meet some people at McLaren. The driver's experience was $3,000. That does not include hotel. That does not include transport. Okay. That does not include getting to Sonoma, obviously. And me noting that I wasn't going to make a video on this and that this was just for my birthday. While I was posting there, because I was posting a lot, people were like, oh my God, please make a video on this. How did you get to do this? What is this? What happened? How did you end up in a Formula One car? Frankly, a lot of the stuff that you saw me do when I was there had nothing to do with the driver's experience. Didn't need to pay for that at all. I mean, there were some perks. We'll talk about it all. So for ticket types, we had general admission, which was $195 for the weekend, about $95, $115, $105 for the day. Driver's experience. So this is what it was supposed to get me. General admission, paddock entry for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Driver's lounge access with elevated track views from Turn 11 Pavilion. Taylor Farms Sip and Savor Pavilion access, ages 21 and up only. Access to our driver's meeting and opening reception Thursday, November 9th. Closing celebration Saturday, November 11th at Ramsgate Winery. VIP parking. $2,999. Okay. The thing is here, what drove me crazy, paddock entry. See, that's where I don't think I ever got paddock access. I was in the pit lane, but like that was me doing that. That wasn't me getting special access. I guess I could have just walked in there. That's a whole thing. Anyways, I had a lot of issues with a lot of things this weekend. Mainly it comes down to communication because on here it includes nothing about the meeting for Thursday night. I flew out there on Thursday and I received, aside from my ticket confirmation, I got no information for the event. Now this seems to be an ongoing issue and I spoke to several other people who were even drivers themselves who had issues with having very little information. So this seems to be an ongoing thing with the event. So I drive up there. Okay. I go to the wrong one because it says like driver's access or something like that. So I'm just guessing like, oh, driver's experience. Okay. I go to that line. Are you participating was what they asked. And I said, no, I'm just attending. It's like, okay, so you're a participant. Okay. I didn't know that that's what I would be classified as, but whatever. They're like, okay, you got to go around and go to the exit, go to the other line, because this is for the drivers. Okay. No big deal. I don't know. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was sensitive. Maybe it was 7 a.m. I don't know. But like everyone that I spoke to that was dealing with like the actual admissions gate and the parking situation were kind of nightmares. And I get it. It's day one. It's early. I'm being an asshole, but y'all were yelling at me and being incredibly rude. And I was just trying to figure out where to go. No one would tell me where to go. It would just be like up the hill. There's 3 different hill accesses. Which hill am I going up? I've never been here before. I don't know. They put me in the premium lot, which I don't know what the deal was, but it was really far away and it was a dirt lot. And so it's like, I don't even think I was in the right lot at first, frankly. Honestly, I have no idea. What I should have done was go to registration. But when I was getting in line to go into the, to drive in, like you don't realize you're passing registration really until you're already past it. So I don't know if there's a sign thing to fix there, but whatever. And so I parked and I walked all the way through, and then I walked down to registration, which was a pretty far trek. Turn 11 is a big turn at Sonoma Raceway. This is a really cool track, actually. I wish I would have been able to see more of it while I was out there. About 2/3 of the people that I saw race this weekend took it wrong, where they took it a little too close, way too early, and then they almost dinged into the wall because they hit the apex at a little weird time, and then it like slingshots them almost into the wall. And these are beautiful, in some instances very old cars that are, you know, relics, if anything else to describe them. And I was getting real anxious. I was like, they're getting real close, and someone was like, you know, it's not close until you see sparks. I was like, dude, that's for a Camry, okay? That's not for a 1967 car. It's just not. We're not doing this. But turn 11 is also where the driver's lounge was. So they had a Bell helicopter up there. They had a bar area up there as well, where I could also get Diet Cokes. And then they had a barista stationed inside throughout the entire day, which was nice. And they gave us breakfast and lunch in there as well. They had cookies and things like that. They had the Sonoma racetrack, the raceway, their cafe, and then they had a donut thing. Delicious. The donuts were, oh my God, so good. I got cinnamon sugar every single time. They were fresh. Amazing. They had this chicken thing that had a variety of options, which was good. You'll find something, like there were options, but the food that I had in the lounge was always very good. But I only really had lunch. I had breakfast all 3 days. I only had lunch the first day because the next 2 days I was hanging around the McLaren garage. I didn't want to leave, and I'm glad I didn't. I did like the view from up there, though. I was just hanging around by the railing there quite a bit with my little soda. Next to that was the McLaren lounge. Now, I don't fully understand how one achieved access to the McLaren lounge, because my first initial guess was that if you owned a McLaren, you could apply to have access to this lounge because it was McLaren's 60th anniversary, and they were celebrating it this whole year. And that's why they were part of Velocity Invitational. I believe Zach Brown is on the board or something for Velocity Invitational. He's the CEO of McLaren. He's also a driver himself. So he was actually participating as a driver in Velocity Invitational, which was cool. I saw David Malukas in there a few times. I saw clips later that said that looked like Lando and Pato were in there and all of that. I never actually saw them aside from David, but I'm assuming they were all floating around in there because it was like McLaren staff only, McLaren people only. They had literal 2 McLarens parked in there. I don't have a ton of clips of the lounges themselves, just because I think it's a whole different thing. It's called the driver's lounge because the drivers that are actually participating in the invitational are in fact there. Their teams are there, their families are there, and then it's other people that decided to spend potentially too much money, like me, to be there. So it's like I didn't take a lot of clips in there so that I was being respectful. And again, I wasn't planning on making a video. On the other side was another lounge that I never actually figured out who they were, what the deal was, how you got in there. It was a even more variety of people, but they were really crowded. So I don't know what that was. I never got an answer. Even to see turn 11, you don't need to have access to the driver's lounge because that's the exit as well for, not the pit lane exit, but just an exit basically to get off track that a lot of the drivers used is right there as well. So they had gates lined up that you could basically sit there and hang out and you could see everything. Even just for the view, you don't really need this. The lack of information is always going to bother me for events like this, especially when it's like I've paid $3,000. So I was supposed to get the VIP parking. Apparently, when I went to go get my wristbands and all that, they couldn't find the proper parking for me. So they just gave me a valet weekend pass to put on my rental car. And then I got the lanyard that I needed for the driver's dinner that was going to be Saturday at Ramsgate, which we'll talk more about that later in a second. But I realized later, I was like, oh, I don't know what time that's at. Like, I should know what time that's at. And so I'd gone and asked someone else. I was like, hi, do we know what time this is at? And she was like, oh, well, that's for the Ramsgate winery. I was like, no, I know what it's for. I need to know what time I need to be there. And she was like, oh, probably 6. okay. Anyways, I went and checked 3 more times until someone finally found the proper book that had the proper schedule in it, because the only schedule that was available online was for the race times, which is great. But like there's other stuff happening. And then I was told that it was actually at 7 because they have to be locked up. Pretty much everything has to be done. Cars have to be off the track by 6 for Saturday. She was like, you can come at 6, like no one's going to turn you away, but like it starts at 7. And I said, well, why? My anxiety will be better if I'm not there at 6 is what you're telling me. Friday was cool. Just walked around, met a few people, got to go look at some of the cars. They had, gosh, so many world championship winning cars. You know, they had the OG, they had the '08, they had, oh god, it was just a cool setup for them. Okay, and they brought some of the cars out, and there was a cat. There's a famous motorsport cat that just like sits on the cars. You're so cutie patootie. This was Lando's weekend, is basically what this was. Friday, Lando was not there. He was in Vegas still, I believe. I'm assuming for the Netflix Cup or just other promo stuff that he had to do before the Vegas Grand Prix. And it was funny because every time I was there, like the attendees that were clearly fans that were there waiting for him were like, I don't think he's gonna come. Like, I don't think he's gonna come. In my head, I'm thinking like they're just gonna ship him around. Like he's just gonna go from jet to jet to jet if he needs to meet all of these requirements. He's already on the marketing situation. I was told that he spiked the ticket sales when they announced that he was going to be there. So they were going to make sure he was going to be there, basically, was my understanding. It was funny Friday to hear how fans on track and drivers and employees of Sonoma Raceway were talking about Lando, because they were kind of speaking about him like he was like the favorite boy in the neighborhood who they just loved what he was doing for the local sports team. Like someone was complaining because they were doing signings Saturday and Sunday and they weren't doing any on Friday. It's like, yeah, it's bullshit. They're not doing any signings or anything on Friday. And someone was like, well, you know, they're lucky that they got Lando at all. That boy is just so busy. Once we announced that he was on the lineup, attendance shot up. You know, I bet he gets tired. It's at the top of his game right now. You know, it's always interesting to hear how people talk about other people. That was Friday. Went and got a burger and went to my hotel room. It was great. That was really it. Low-key Friday. I liked it. It was cool to walk around. I think Friday's a good one day, unless obviously it's a situation like Lando only going on 2 days or something like that. But like there was very few people there because it's just the practice day. If you just want to see the cars, if you want to see everything, there was quite a lot to see and do on Friday.
I always like things like this because it's like the car is sleeping, even though it's in the middle of like a field.
Saturday, I met a wonderful couple, Ashley and Greg, and they have been fans of F1 for 20 years. Like talking with them was very, very fun for me. Okay. They were very sweet people, but they are like me. Okay. In that they are talkers. Okay. Friendly talkers, if you will. Because I've talked about this quite a bit with a lot of the events that I go to, where I say, I always encourage you guys, like, oh, especially if you go alone, like talk to people, not just like people that are like in the same group, but like talk to employees, talk to, you know, security guards, like talk to the people at these booths and all of the stuff. Make friends. Because like you just never know what's going to come out of things. And I always think that it's nice to be nice. Greg and Ashley had the same philosophy as me, which was great. But they're like literally sitting there showing me like all the different drivers that they've met throughout the years. They're telling me about all the Grand Prix they've been to all over the world, and it's their fault. I'm going to be in credit card debt, frankly, because with everything that ended up happening, it's going to be their fault. And I met a viewer, which was very nice, and then I got kind of smushed into a sandwich in the McLaren garage because I went over to go, you know, look around, and Lando came out to get fitted into the seat because that was going to be the one that he was driving that day. Everyone's freaking out. Someone behind me yells, we have stroop waffles. And I later found out that Ashley was the one that was like, yeah, there's stroop waffles, your favorite stroop waffles for your birthday. She has stroop waffles for you. Because this girl that had brought the stroop waffles was apparently very shy to yell that she had brought him something for his birthday. I do think some of the girls around me were willing to elbow me to take me out if it meant that they got to get a photo with him. Or there was a lot of friendship bracelets. That's been very common. I got given one that says, I like fast cars. I was also offered a McLaren one, but it was that or this one. I was like, I kind of like the I like fast cars one, frankly. It's the right event for it. So the meet and greet line is very long. And apparently they have told people that if you are at the end, you will not be meeting them. So they're literally doing 30 minutes and that's it. The meet and greet line was insane. I never went to go do the meet and greet, but also I've talked about this from a viewer / fan perspective or whatever. Like, I don't know. They make me uncomfortable. I don't know why. I'd rather just risk not meeting someone that I'm a fan of than like just have that very quick, brief interaction and feel like a jilted lover. I don't know. Like, but I was with Greg and Ashley and we were like talking about racing races and stuff near the McLaren garage. And Gary, okay, from the Heritage team, had talked to them earlier. And so he came over to see them. And they were like, oh, this is our new friend Amanda. And I was like, oh, hi. We're talking. Very sweet, wonderful. But we're talking about stuff. And he was like, oh, yeah, come on over here. Brings us under the ropes, right up to the cars, and is letting us get photos of the cars. Here's me smiling. Greg took these. He's like, I've learned my lesson. I just take 20 photos at once. Greg, I need you to give my father a crash course in taking photos because he does the whole pause and take the photo, and then I'm blinking and then it's blurry and it's a nightmare. But Greg got very good photos of me this trip, so thank you, Greg. We're just walking around, we're talking about the different cars. You know, Ashley loves Senna, so we were talking about Senna's cars quite a bit. Gary was actually one of Senna's last mechanics and is now with the Heritage team for McLaren, so that was really cool to talk with him and just talk about a bunch of the history of the cars and everything like that. It's like I hear people being like, well, wait, why do they get to go under the rope? Why are they going under there? And yeah, you would think it was this, but no, wasn't this at all. It was Ashley and Greg didn't have that. They were just general admission. Got premium parking. That was it. They just talked to people. I was just talking to people. I was talking with Gary quite a bit. Being behind the ropes and like just being that close to the cars was like really, really cool. Like these historical cars, these world championship winning cars. Bruce McLaren's car had been run for more laps than it had in 29 years at Velocity Invitational. And then we're like right next to the car. They're taking the bodywork off. We're talking about it. They're showing us the engines. They're telling us it's so cool. And I was like, this is like just such an insane experience. Like I'll never get to see these cars like this again, you know? And so that was really, really cool. So I spent a lot more time in the McLaren garage today. Now, apparently the party's not till 7. It's 5:18. I might just go back to my hotel for a bit and change there. Originally I was gonna change in my car. I don't think I need to now. So there's that. Because originally I thought it was at 6. It was fun. It was nice. The food was good. There's so much money in car people, which I knew. But like even people who were just driving, like the amount of drivers that were like, oh, this is like, I used to drive professionally and now this is what I do. Not that this isn't professional driving, but still. And then you had a lot of people that was like, they are just collectors. And they have a lot of money now and they want to drive fast cars. And this is how they live those dreams. They had someone who would write a personalized poem for people. And they had someone who did portraits for us as well that was there. That was really cool. Like she would take a photo of you and then she'd be like, okay, you go enjoy the party and then come back in a little while and you'll have your portrait. And so she did like this really pretty portrait of me, making me look snatched as hell in my little bodycon dress. Thank you. My little sweater dress I was wearing. Does it make the $3,000 worth it to have access to that party? No, but it was a fun little experience. The food was great. Beautiful location. Scary as hell driveway. Terrifying driveway at night. Ramsgate Winery. Guys have a scary driveway. I'm going up there. I'm like, I'm driving into the most dangerous game again. I'm doing it. It's happening. And then you get up there and there's valet and you see the electric boat, self-parking boat that they have that's been at the raceway all weekend. I was like, how'd you get that on the trailer up here? It doesn't make sense in my brain. That's a weird, scary driveway. Anyways, beautiful location. Would like to see it during the daytime. Good morning. They're still sitting at breakfast in the driver's lounge, so I came out here to do a lap and get out of the way. And people are already lined up for the meet and greet. That's not till 2. So I will once again not be trying to do that because I refuse to. Gosh, where to start with Sunday? Walking around, get some breakfast, go and talk to Bill. Bill was one of the security guards that I promised I would not get hit by a car the entire weekend. I made him that promise because to get to the McLaren garage, you had to cross the track that led onto Velocity Lane where all the cars would line up before they would go to the actual raceway itself and get on the track. And so they would be coming around the bend pretty quickly. And so he would be like telling people like, hey, don't cross here, wait. And I promised him I wouldn't get hit because he said, yeah, you don't want to go to the ER and tell them that you got hit by a Ferrari going 10 miles an hour. And someone else was like, but you would want to be hit by a Ferrari. And I was like, no, because going 10 miles per hour, it's absolutely my fault if they injure me. That one's my fault. He was great. He was always in the same spot. Met another person named Amanda who's also going to be at the Netflix Cup. We were talking about the different cars because one of the side pods for one of the cars just looked goofy as hell from the front. And then he was like, oh, well, come look, and like brings me behind the line. And once again, you hear people going like, oh, why does she get to go behind the line and all this stuff? And it's like, just talk to people. I never once asked, can I go over there? I never once asked that. You guys know me. I'm bad at asking for things. Horrible. It was really just I showed legitimate interest in these cars. I had questions about the cars and they were like, oh my God, yeah, let's talk about these cars. Come on over. Let me show you up close. Let's talk about this. They pushed us back at one point because they had to start bringing the cars out and warming them up because these cars, they have to warm up the engines to get them going. Well, most of these cars, they have to warm up the engines anyway and run them for a specific amount of time and all this stuff to get them going before they can get on the track and be track ready so they don't stall out and explode. Ashley basically Greg and I were talking with, I believe it was Gary again, about some cars, and we're like, oh yeah, is Lando gonna take this one out again? Because on Saturday he took out the number 7. We were like, oh, is he gonna take that one out again? Are you guys gonna put him in a different one? Because they were telling me like, oh yeah, David's gonna go in this one. He's the only one that can fit in that one. At one point, Gary was like, oh yeah, no, Lando, we got to put in this one, because they wanted to put him originally in the 08 in Lewis Hamilton's championship winning car. However, apparently I believe it's the understeer that they said was really bad, and then also this track is very rickety. They were like, we literally can't have anything happen to Lando, so we will not be putting him in that car. He will be going in this one. It's a little easier of a drive. Once again, they were like, Lando, we can't have anything happen to Lando, which is very funny. But even then, just like talking about the cars in relation to Lando, someone behind me was like, are they going to come out? Are they going to come out? Is Lando going to come out here and say hi to us? I don't even remember if Gary said anything to her or anything like that. On one hand, I get it, because it's like, for a lot of people, this was probably like their one opportunity that they think they're ever going to have to meet Lando, because like the GP costs are expensive, especially here in the US. Traveling is not always something people can do. And then even then, when you go to a GP, you're probably not going to meet the drivers. They go and do the run. And what was really nice is that Rob is the Heritage Team test driver, pro driver for McLaren now, is their test driver for these cars. He was going to be in one of the cars for both races. He's all suited up and all this stuff. He walks up to us and he's like, hey guys, come on down. Like, come down to the pit lane. Brings us down to the pit lane to watch them race. That was cool. That was really fun.
I got Rob's dad.
Rob's car had to be a push to start. They were telling me that his car, they'd show it's like, yeah, this engine sucks. It takes forever to get warmed up. It doesn't start working properly until it's at like 70 degrees, all this stuff. And there was an issue where they did the universal hand signal for, oh my God, stop right now, when they were trying to get the car warmed up. So they did a push to start on that one. When we were down there, Rob was like, oh, I'll see about getting you in the 08 later, because I was talking about the chrome with him earlier when they were out there running the engines. It just looked really cool in the sun. I think I said, oh, that'll be awesome, but I don't think it like really registered what he was like saying to me, because it didn't really register in my brain. And so we're like standing off to the side. We're walking up with them as they're moving the cars in. We're just standing inside the garage waiting. Rob comes back after getting changed, comes back, and he's like, oh, this is Ben. He's the lead mechanic, basically in charge of this car, and he's going to get you in the seat. Huh? Throw my bag down, like, what? Shoes off, shoes on. What do you want? Shout out Greg for getting a lot of faraway footage of me. And then everyone in the team was just very sweet. And someone else there, I'm blanking on her name. It's going to drive me crazy that I forgot her name, because I asked her, but I was like giddy. And so it like went over my head when you told me your name. I'm sorry. But she was wonderful. She was like, oh, do you want photos of you in the car? And so she took my phone and just took a bajillion photos of me at different angles in the car and all this stuff, which was very cool. And it's like, oh God, I was like, I'm just smiling so big in the photos, because it was just really cool, because I'm like strapped in. If my hips were any bigger, I would not have fit in this car. Okay. And like it was Rob's seat for his drive for that one, for the afternoon drive, because he was going to be in the 08 in the afternoon. And so it was like the bigger seat to begin with. So honestly, if it weren't for that, I would not have fit in this car. But I'm literally wiggled all the way in. My thighs are smushed in there. Okay. So it's like, I don't even know if I could feasibly drive this thing, because I don't think my legs would let me move. I was basically like mermaid tailed into this thing, but my feet were on the pedals. Like feasibly, I could have driven this thing, but I don't think it would have been a good idea. It would have been the slowest recorded lap in history is what it would have been. I was basically on my back, like barely peeking up, fully wiggled in there. I could see my feet in the pedals, but they were up there. I'm like feeling the pedals around, and like I was levitated up. So I was even higher than you normally would be, because they had it on the jack at the time, I believe, because they had the tires on, but like it was just like off the ground, the car, because they were keeping them off the ground. And then to be in a helmet in that thing too, God, going that fast at that angle, anyways, clap for race car drivers. Clap for some F1 drivers today. God. They were like, oh yeah, you could take a nap in there. I was like, I might. This is actually like a comfy seat, because you're like, it's like kind of like a sleeping bag situation, but it's not a sleeping bag situation. You're just like, you're mermaid tailed in there basically. And so I wiggled out. I got out. It was Ashley, Greg, and I were like, oh, we got to go eat lunch. And like I had missed lunch in the driver's lounge again, but I was like, I don't want to leave, because like I feel like there's something that's coming, like it felt like something else was coming, and like I was just smiling like crazy. Sure enough, they let Ashley sit in the 74, and she's smaller than me. She's 5'1", I'm 5'2", so she was like really in the car and all that. So we're taking photos with that, which was crazy. And then we're like, okay, we got to go eat, but we wanted to come back for the next race, because they were like, oh yeah, if you guys want to come watch the next not race, but they were like doing like a show off, basically like just 8 laps with these cars. And they were like, if you want to come see it from the pit lane, again, just like flag Rob was like, oh, just flag me or Gary down. And so we went to go eat, and then we were like just kind of like in the line of sight. Gary comes up, gets us, brings us on down. Rob was going to be in the '08, so the one that I was in. And Pato had driven that the day before, and Pato was ripping around in it, okay? He was trying to get fastest lap for that track in that car, and he was off by a second, which might as well be 5 minutes in an F1 car, frankly. Rob was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go way slower than he did. And sure enough, they ended up switching cars. Lando and TK did. Strapped in, all that. So it's like, again, right there. Didn't meet him. Because everyone was like demanding photos and stuff, and I was just like, he just got out of a race car, you know? It's like wrong time, wrong place. You get my point? So I was like, whatever, you know? It was really cool, but Gary warned me. He was like, yeah, when Lando rips by, you're going to want to plug your ears because you're going to feel like your brain is shattering. Like it's gonna be bad. Rob was literally right behind Lando on the track, and I was like, why didn't you pass him? And he's like, because if I sneak up on him and he startles and then he spins out and then he's not racing in Vegas. And I was like, you know what? Good point. It was really cool. I'm like smiling like crazy sitting there watching these cars rip down the track. David's ripping down, TK's ripping down. It's just crazy. Ashley and Greg are like, see, that's why we like this so much. We told you we were gonna get addicted. And I was like, thanks for bestowing credit card debt on me, because now I'm not gonna be able to not want this. Like it's kind of like how I talked about Drive to Survive being like watching the movie before you read the book, and the movie's good enough that it makes you want to read the book, but then you read the book and you realize the movie sucks. Basically, I said that like once you start watching Grand Prix, then Drive to Survive sucks. Like once you actually know what's going on, and you start watching the Grand Prix and, you know, following everything on social media and all this other stuff, like everything else kind of sucks. Now that I've been there and I've heard these cars and I've seen them rip past me, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to watch this on ESPN now? Like, it's just not going to work. It's not the same. I have an addictive personality. I don't know why I thought this was going to work out. They wrapped up that race. They brought the cars back in, headed back out. We were like, okay, we're overstaying our welcome. So we said goodbye. We left, went and did a lap. And they have a friend, okay, Kevin, who owns currently Michael Schumacher's Ferrari bus. And it was there. And they were like, oh, have you been inside it yet? No? Come on, let's get a tour. What?
The racers come off track, they want to get their break. Sure. Michael Schumacher would come in here, take a nap, get a massage. That's at the massage table. This used to have double awnings on each side. Hospitality, workers, Schumacher's little getaway from the track, to, you know, relax, whatever.
Anyways, so I got to be inside Michael Schumacher's Ferrari bus, where they shot his time cover. But we had said goodbye to Rob when we left, and then we realized we never got a chance to say goodbye to Gary. And I really wanted to say thank you to Ben, other Ben, who had let me get into the '08. So I was like, you know, we got to go back. So we went back, said goodbye. I said thank you to Ben, felt better about it. I was like, oh, thank God. Because that was a really cool thing, and he absolutely didn't have to do that. I was just talking to one of the other employees about like how great this is, like once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to be inside these cars. And he was like, yeah, you know, we love being able to do this when we can, but you kind of got to gauge the crowd a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, it's like, you can tell, like everyone right here, they're waiting for Lando. They don't care about the cars. Like they may want to be in the car because you get to be in the car, or like they see other people getting to do it, but like they're here for Lando. You know, it's fine to want to meet your favorite driver. It's fine to be a fan of someone. It's fine to want to meet Pato or David or TK or anyone else. It's fine to want to meet Zach, but like sometimes it's good to be chill. I don't know. I don't even know what the moral of the story is. Just like talk to people. I've talked about this a lot with like my inability to ask for things and why I'm really bad at it. I live in Los Angeles. It's very much a what can you do for me city. It just is. Okay. And so I am very conscious of not coming across that way. That's really how I try to go about my life. It's like, I'm talking to you because I want to talk to you. I don't give a shit what you can do for me. Okay. I will figure out my shit on my own. I think because of that, I'm like, again, very conscious about talking with people, but also I've worked in the service industry. And so it's like, I know how a lot of people are going to be treated. Not that like the heritage team is in the service industry. They're working on these cars. It's not the same thing, but like, I don't know. I go to fan events and I see things and I just talk to people. That's my moral of the story, is like me paying money didn't get me anything in there. There was a private tour that was like the Delta tour or something, and they were all the people in the McLaren gear. So I guess there was a way to go with McLaren for this, I guess, but I have no idea. I kept getting brought behind the ropes because I was just being chill with Greg and Ashley and just talking and asking questions about the cars, and they were like, oh yeah, come check this out up close, you know, talking about like just the amount of debris these tires pick up. Okay. Like it's just on this track, especially. And it's like they got to see, the wet tires, they brought them as well. They were like, yeah, we weren't sure about the weather and we didn't want to not be able to bring them out because of the rain. Talking about how they're going to load these cars up and ship them back home and all this stuff. And it's like, you like this sport. Surely you do. I know you do. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you only like the sport because you like that you think Lando's cute or whatever, that you think these drivers are cute. I'm sure that 90% of the people there, yes, Lando is their favorite, but they also probably like the sport. You probably know at least something about one of these cars. Talk about these cars. Because I saw it wasn't just us being brought around. There was other people that kept talking with other people and getting brought around as well. I don't know if any of them got to be in the cars. I was very fortunate in that. Ashley was very fortunate in that. But like, talk to people. You never know. Went back around. Gary, when we went and said goodbye to him, he came out with 2 hats and gave one to me and Ashley, and it was the hats that all the team was wearing. They gave me one of the hats, which is super cool because these were sold out. That was very sweet. And then someone else was walking around from the team giving out driver's cards that had Oscar and Lando's signature on them, so I got one of those, which was very sweet. Sunday is winding down. Cars are packing up. Races are ending. This was such a cool experience, but also easily could have done general admission or preferred and still had a good time. So this is so cool. And yeah, it was really great. I met a lot of you guys, a few of you guys there. A few of you DM'd me and said you were scared to come and say hi to me because I was talking to people. Always fine. You can always come and say hi. It's always appreciated. Would I do the driver's experience again? I don't know. I don't think I need to. I'd rather just like do general admission and pay for a good parking pass. Because I don't think that like the experience for the driver's experience was worth it unless there's something else that I'm missing. And which case, again, more communication from you guys for anyone, but especially like the drivers and all of that. And I had been told that like a bunch of people didn't know about the drivers meeting on Thursday. Clearly there was an issue with the communication situation side of things. And like for anyone who's like going at these speeds in these cars, that's a big deal. But also anyone who paid $3,000 or the ultimate experience, which was $15,000. Why? I don't goddamn know. I didn't look at it. I didn't let myself look at that amount of money, frankly. I was like, no. So much of the Sonoma Raceway has a lot of access where you can see a good chunk of the track. The one thing that I didn't like was that the pillar where they have the standings for the race itself, really far. It's very tall. You can see it from most spots around the track, but you can't see it from turn 11. You can't see it from certain angles because you're stuck behind the grandstands or things like that. So I don't know. Another one of those somewhere else would be really nice. Maybe use my money to build that. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be it. I had a good birthday. Weekend. I'm very glad I went. I can't say that I'm, disappointed in anything, which it's really hard to be disappointed when you get this experience. William, insert a photo of me in that car again. I just keep smiling about that. It's so cool. And someone was like, I would just be like freaking out and vibrating. I basically was. I couldn't stop smiling. I was like trying to ask questions and I just was not happening. Shout out to Greg and Ashley. I don't know if you're going to watch this, but they were very sweet. We exchanged information. Shout out to everyone that was in the Heritage team. You guys are great. You guys were so sweet and kind and welcoming. And I hope you all had a very safe trip home. They were on their way home while I was coming here. So hope you all had a good trip home. Have you been to Velocity Invitational? Have you been to Sonoma Raceway? Have you been in an F1 car? I have. Sorry. Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, Swell Shenanigans. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder, I'm now streaming on Twitch. Reminder that I have merch. Talk to people. Is that a good design? Say hi to people. Talk. Ask questions. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also like to support my Patreon, that was down below. Like to my no social media. That'll be all up here. And that's going to have a lovely day. Goodbye. Abby, Adira, Amy, Andrew, Angel, Aslan, Cameron, Corey, Donnie, Elliot, Glenn, Goth, Jasmine, Kenny, Lauren, Literal, Madeline, Mae West, Medic, Micah, Michael, Nathan, Palace, Pink, QWERTY, Rachel, Randy, Robert, Rosie, Ryan, Sam, Skylar, Tasha, Tenzin, Thomas, Heavenly, Victor, Winter, Zwink.